use a couple of basic colors. I'll open these up so you can see them. I'm going to use E34 and what's the other one? E18 and E79. And I'm going to start with the lightest one and the colorless blender. And I'm going to start by putting the skin tone in and go up into the hair. So I'll just do the skin tone the way I've done it before. And I'm going to go up into the hairline. Okay, and then I'm going to, and I'm probably just going to do hair that is just sort of off to the side a little bit. So I'm going to take the colorless blender and soften that edge, kind of pull the hair up into the color of the skin, up into the scalp, because you want it to look like it's growing out of the scalp, not a wig. And the kind of hair I'm going to do is, we'll do some that kind of comes out. So the way I work with this is I usually work with the blender and the color together, and I start with the lightest color first. So this is the E34, and pull it out, and I'm going to do a part on one side, so we'll do blender and color, and I start by just kind of building up some softened color. I'm going to do it off to the other side, and let's do sort of long hair that's maybe going down her back. So again, I'm going to soften it. I don't want any hard edges. This is like the first layer. Then I'm going to go to the next layer, which I'll go to a darker color, the E18. And E18, if I want the hair to go behind her back, then I'm going to darken with a sharp edge line around her neck, and then pull it, soften it, and pull it up into the hair, and it is dark behind here as well. Soften it, pull it up into the hair. And if we have our light source coming from one side, upper right, then I'm going to make the left side a little darker, and I'm going to do this in very thin streaks and soften those. So I'm just building up the first layer, and I'm going to leave the very top where the part is a little lighter. See, I'm working with really, really thin lines. Just the tip, and I'm building light to dark. So what I'm doing is building pretty much base color, and here's a little bit of the part. You don't have to leave the paper, but you can. So I'm going to give her hair just a little bit of lift here, and I'm going to make her hair darker. So I'm just kind of starting out to build up sections of color. And let's give her some bangs just a little bit, maybe coming down one side of the face. Again, I'm going to soften this. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the little bit of black, and still with the colorless blender. See, the kind of lines I'm using are this light. They're like this, very, very thin, and pulling it away. So this is the way you do hair, really, really thin and pulling it away. And I'm going to go in and just hint at some lines in here, hint at some lines up into the hair. I don't want to fill it in too heavy. I want to leave it light because I'm going to go in with pencil later. So I'm just creating kind of a base. And I know that I want her hair to be darker as we go behind, so I'm going to darken that again. Darken there, and maybe blend out a little bit. This side is a little lighter. So you see that I'm leaving light areas. Okay, so now I'm going to put those away and we're going to do the pencil part of it. And I'm going to start with the brown pencil first. And I go to the outside and I create wispy lines that are hair. Just very delicate kind of lines on the outside so that it doesn't look so heavy. And I keep turning the pencil. So let's maybe bring some of her hair down in the front with a little bit of curl. Now remember that I can take the colorless blender, even with the pencil, and I can soften parts of it. So I'm using the colorless blender to do this, and I've decided that I'm going to bring some of her hair down in the front. Very, very light, delicate. If I want more color variation, I can go in with other colors on the pencil and kind of tint. Maybe I want a little more yellow in the upper. Okay, then at the very end, I'm going to go in with the black. And the black is to define it, and it has to be really, really sharp. So you see how sharp this pencil point is. This is like needle sharp. Go in with the outside, and these are the lines I'm drawing are like this, very wispy, delicate, and I pull from the side and I keep turning the pencil. So I'm pulling from the side, turning the pencil. I know that her hair is going behind, so it's going to be a little darker right at the bottom. Pulling it up here. I want to give her a little more lift, and so that she looks like it's hair and not a wig and not yarn. So again, very delicate little lines that come down. This is going to come maybe in front. The ear is behind. This is pretty long, so her eye is way up in here somewhere. And we're covering a lot of her face with the hair on this one. And I'm going to go in and just try to get it so that it is really defining the shape that I want. So if I want this to blend in here, you see how I can take the pencil and make things go forward and